Hi, Michael Smith here in the Peavey studios in Meridian, Mississippi with the new VYPYR Pro amplifier. And we're looking at the back panel. And the first thing you see is we have a power sponge. Now, what is a power sponge? Because the VYPYR series uses TransTube technology, which is a Peavey patent, we can have a built-in power attenuator. And basically this limits the available power to the power amp. And because it's TransTube, you're going to still get some of that power amp saturation like a real tube amp would have. If you haven't read Hartley's white paper on TransTube, it's on our website, and I highly suggest you read it. It explains really well why TransTube is such a great invention and why it sounds and feels so good and just like a tube amp. So what I would suggest is when you're tweaking your presets at home, go ahead and put it on 1% power. That way when you get to the gig, you can go ahead and turn it up, and you're going to have a similar sound that you had at home. Or you can go ahead at home and tweak it on full power and at stage volume and just get complaints from the neighbors. Now we have the microphone simulated direct interface, which is next, which is an XLR output that mimics the sound of a 412 cabinet that's mic'd at about 8 inches from the cone. It's an awesome thing to have on the amp, and if you haven't ever soloed out your guitar microphone, your guitar amp microphone, and listen to what all's coming through that mic, you'd be very surprised, especially the size stages that most of us play on. There's a lot of cymbals and monitor bleed. You're getting a lot of stuff through your vocal or through your guitar amp microphone that you really don't want, and your sound man especially doesn't want. So highly recommend trying this out. We actually have the ability here to turn the speaker off, which you can, if you're using in-ears in a worship team situation, certainly that will help your sound man a lot. And then you can just monitor yourself in your ears. And we have a level control and a ground lift. So if you're getting any kind of hum, you can go ahead and just hit the ground lift. Next we have our effects loop, which is a series effects loop right before the power section. And we have our data output here, our USB output, which is serves three purposes. Number one, I can record with this. When I plug into the computer with that, and I open up my workstation, my digital audio workstation, I'm going to see that as an external sound card. So I can use that as my sound source and not have to deal with any kind of miking or even the MSDI. I can actually just plug right in with the USB. And both the USB and MSDI are tapped off after the power section, so you're going to get the full sound of the amplifier when it's pushed. Also, the USB will enable you to plug into the computer for use with the VYPYR Edit web app, which is for uploading and downloading your presets and for configuring your presets on the screen, as well as you can also download the updates. And if you even don't use that, you can download updates via the updater using the USB. And you see we have two outputs here. One, we have a Midi output, which is for sending MIDI preset messages to any external device, which you can also specify which MIDI channel. And that will plug directly into the AT200B breakout box. And that way, you can change the patches on the AT200 as we did in our previous video. And here we have our foot switch for the VYPYR Pro. The foot switch is an 8-pin, but if you want to plug in a 5-pin MIDI cable input, you can do that as well. There's a MIDI spec, which is posted on the website, which will explain all of the MIDI commands that the VYPYR Pro can accept. So you could actually use a digital audio workstation, for instance, to change the presets and the settings in the amplifier, as well as the AT200. So you could, if you are a one-man band and you're playing along with tracks and you don't want to deal with the foot pedal in a live situation, you could actually program all of your changes in your digital audio workstation and just play, and it will do all the changing for you. So really a versatile amp, versatile back panel, and that's the VYPYR Pro. I'm Michael Smith here at Peavey Electronics.